What's good, everyone? It's that dude, the one and only Mind the Murder. I'm bringing it back. We are here for yet another episode of Mind on Bears. Do we have anything else to say? Can we please leave the fingernails alone? Big time game by the Chicago Bears this past weekend. It was a dominant game versus the Dallas Cowboys. We had a 19-play drive and so much more. We'll be talking about that and the upcoming game and predictions for today's game because I should have this out for Sunday. So today's game versus the Raiders and so much more here on Mind on Bears. What's good? What's good? What's good, everyone? It's that dude, the one and only Mind the Murder. We bringing it back. We are here starting things off with Caleb Williams and his awareness with his nails and things like that with the public eye. Apparently, a lot of you out here tend to still say and still try to look past football itself and not understand that Caleb Williams does things how he wants to. He wants to set precedents. He wants to go ahead and bring awareness as much as he can with certain things. As you can see from the thumbnail, we actually have there Caleb Williams was actually representing a suicide awareness line right there with the 988. And just to let you all know, if there's anything at all that you want to talk to anybody about, mental awareness is definitely a key thing in the world, and definitely make sure that you don't play with it. If there's something wrong, definitely go get you some help if you feel like you're having some thoughts or, leaning in a certain type of way. It's best to be aware and, just have those answers for yourself other than trying to go find answers in the wrong way. So definitely big shout out to Caleb Williams and any other rookies out here or anyone at all in the league that tries to make a point for different organizations and different things like that that actually mean something out here. Unlike most that kind of just, they change their clothing just because of, they're winning games and, or they're having a winning season, so not a huge jab, but just a light jab at Amon Ra. Apparently he changed his hair color just because they were having a winning season. It wasn't any awareness within that. So for anyone out there that likes to come at Caleb Williams and his fingers, guess what? Apparently, you and his nails and awareness just don't agree. So you don't agree with any suicide awareness or anything like that. You really must make sure you check out and pay attention to what exactly you're bashing about it, not just the person. That's why it's best to go ahead and keep it football. Now, also looking at the game itself, the Cowboys, they lost 31-14. Caleb Williams had a nasty drive. He was not playing like Superman whatsoever. He was playing within the drive that Ben Johnson gave him. Ben Johnson gave him one of the best rhythm and flow drives I've seen in a long time, especially with that flea fixture to Luther Burden. Luther Burden, a 65-yarder. Beautiful Bombay bear down on that one. That was just beautiful. If you are at this point in the video, definitely make sure you put a bear down in the comments because that right there, that play showed a lot of potential. I will say it was a little shaky, just like everyone else knows by looking at DeAndre Swift on the exchange. But overall, I can see them fixing things on that and just not even necessarily having to even go to the flea flicker as a play. We can go to other things. It just looks very promising to see as a Bears fan. It's good. It feels good to have a game plan on the offense. We haven't had one since the Cutler days when it came down to an offensive game plan. So it's very nice to see that we're actually able to get to that point. And it seems like there wasn't any, style between certain things when Caleb Williams chose to do the whole nails thing. Just a quick reiteration on that. It was all about awareness. Respect once again for him taking that time out. That's just true leadership that I'm seeing, and that's even bigger than football in some stances. So, once again, big shout out on that awareness, and not saying that people should just sit there and do it with their nails and stuff like that, left and right. But if there's a way to go ahead and put something out there and do something about it, then hey, why not? And so moving on with his on the field play, he stayed in rhythm once again. He moved the linebackers, especially on the touchdown attempt to DJ Moore. Completion to DJ Moore. He was actually able to move the linebackers and the safeties with his movement when he escaped out the pocket. So that was a good thing to see overall because. There's a lot of times where we don't have that awareness from a lot of quarterbacks. They're either statues in the pocket or they try to run out and get that first down touchdown, or just touchdown in general. And it was good to see that he stayed aware and just kept his head up and bang, bang, threw it in there. I was looking for the tight ends to be more deadly targets within the red zone, but it's still, we're still gelling, we're still getting there, we're still going to go ahead and try to functionally make this offense seem like more than it's supposed to be, by making everything look the same and everything different be the same, that type of thing. It all looks the same, be the same. That whole mantra, whatever they were saying with Ben Johnson, and it sounds good. Sounds good. And so far, so good against the Cowboys. Now, everyone wants to talk about the Cowboys didn't have any real success previously, but sad to say, the week before, everyone was speaking on the Cowboys as though they were the guys. And when we were looking at the games overall, the highlights of the game, you had so many by so many different players. You had the DJ Moore. I mean, DJ just found space, period, point blank, just found space and made sure that I'm actually going to stay right here. Once that window opens, boom, you got it. Kayla literally opened the door to the window. Beautiful on that play. So that's definitely something that I like to see from Caleb Williams. He was able to utilize a lot more within that pocket and do more within that play. This right here.
Fourth and goal. Williams looking, pressure, throws, caught, touchdown, DJ Moore.
There was a similar play actually a little bit earlier in that game where he was able to hit Cole Kmet on the seam route. And it was very easy from an offense to defense standpoint, but it really just shows that the linebackers weren't paying attention to the fact that you have a deep threat like Cole Kmet scheme and clean past you guys. And guess what? Caleb hits him right in the pocket.
Williams
Down the seam.
got Kmet, touchdown,
Beautiful.
Chicago.
That right there was a huge play by Cole Kmet to make sure that he stayed within his scheme where he needed to be, stay within the slot. And him and Colston, both of the Coles, is going to be a dynamic targets for Caleb Williams later on in the season, especially when it comes down to those red zone times. It's going to be very interesting to see that. Then we have a lot of adjustments by the defense and just overall adjustments in the game. The Cowboys, they might even be our new rivals. That might be it. It got physical, it got emotional throughout the game. They had two high-profile quarterbacks out there. It felt bigger than just week 3. I'm not even gonna lie about that. By the way that the actual game turned out, and just the energy that they were showing on the field. You had Tremaine Edmunds that made fantastic plays, 2 interceptions, 15 tackles throughout the whole game. He's really earning that paycheck at this point. There was a lot of things I was calling out with him, and I'm very happy to see him showing up on the team. I'm sad to see that we don't have Edwards out there, so it's good to see that him, Noah Sewell, and the linebacking core are really showing up, but we definitely need more out of them big boys on the offensive line, and for sure within the safeties. Right now, hopefully we have Caleb Gordon back for the rest of this, season, but we'll see. Caleb Gordon has been just kind of hurt. So we're hoping that he comes back and he's actually able to be productive, because right now the Bears have just been extremely hurt on the defensive end, and there hasn't been much we can do at that point. Special teams, not really putting too much pressure on the kickers, so the kickers are kind of having all the time in the world. So my biggest thing this week with the Bears is to look for us to not have a block field goal like last week. Last week there were so many teams that had block field goals, and we don't need to have what. Excuse me. As well. Excuse me. So definitely looking for us to just stay consistent and actually hit those goals where we need to at the end of the day. The O-line, Darnell Wright, definitely showed up a little bit more, but he was definitely slipping. Braxton Jones had a better week, but overall, I'm still looking for more improvement on him. Caleb Williams was clean. He was basically clean this week. Wasn't sacked at all this week. First time in his career, so that's definitely good to hear. Just overall, the pressure's still there, though. The pressure's still getting into that pocket a bit too quick, so we need to build a little bit more consistency when it comes down to the time that he gets on plays where he may need time. And in plays where they're slacking, they still need to, uphold the offensive line, but overall, they need to know that, these plays need more time. I'm seeing people get beat off the edge so much, and then you have players like Maxx Crosby showing up this week. It's going to be crazy to watch this offensive and defensive line this week. That's going to be one of the biggest keys to the game this week, is watching those two lines trying to make something of themselves. There's a lot of things that the coaches have been trying to talk about throughout the week. There's been a lot of different changes throughout this games that they're trying to make. One of the biggest changes I've noticed with the Bears is we've had patience. Think about it. That one drive, 19 plays, 76 yards, 9 minutes and 54 seconds. Time of possession. That's a lot. We milked the whole thing. We had their defense just sitting over there. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, our defense just chilling, just chilling, able to just get some water, Gatorade, whatever they drink, Powerade, whatever. It was nice. So I'm definitely able. I mean, not able. I'm happy to see that we were able to execute a drive like that. And it's not that we had to, but it shows that we can execute and finish a drive that's extremely dirty like that. A lot of teams, you don't actually see them complete that drive. It ends up being, field goals at the end of the day. That's not actually a completed drive. To me, personally speaking, that is. Now, when we're speaking on overall talk of, having the GM being a subject overall, a lot of people are talking about Ryan Poles and saying his selection with these players haven't been well, and they haven't necessarily showed up. And look at this and look at that. Well, right now you can directly compare, I don't know, the pick that we chose to change up on, which is Jalen Carter. We chose to not pick him, and you can compare him to Dexter right now. Him and Dexter are pretty similar. It's just the effect that they have in the game, the effect that they have each and every play is a little bit different. It's a little bit different, but overall polls, I would have to give him personally about a B minus in his grade with his overall drafting. But given a lot of his draft picks have been hurt, that actually hurts his grade. It really does, and it really just makes him have a solid B, maybe a C plus overall. With how Ryan Poles has done this drafting so far, how we haven't seen anybody really show up from his pedigree of his drafts that have really done much within winning seasons. That is, we've seen him do individual things, in bad seasons, but anyone can look good on a bad team, that type of thing. So looking forward to us having more insight on that and a little bit more coaching to follow up more of these issues because the controlled pace was beautiful. We broke the Cowboys' momentum overall, and it reset and it rested the defense overall. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for more rest, more rest, more rest. It's not just football. That's championship style football. Period, point blank. Drives like that break another team's back. And that was a core thing seen from the coaching and the overall team that we built here. And so I think people should give Poles maybe another year with Ben Johnson to see what they draft next year, to see what parts of the line and the team overall that we are actually able to utilize and take advantage of, and then we'll see where we go from there. Overall, it's going to be a big thing from our team to have to hold through and pull through with things like this, but I could see us really getting to that in due time much quicker than most people would have seen us. Now, in previewing the Raiders game, we actually have a lot of things we have to worry about right now. Bears have the offense right now. Overall, you have Geno Smith. Not too bad right now with Pete Carroll, but Pete loves his vets. He loves his vets. He loves his vet. It actually works out most of the time when Pete has his vets, apparently, I've seen, other than it working out that one time with Russell Wilson, but we're not going to talk about that Super Bowl, are we? So it definitely works out, but the better running average is more balanced. Overall, it seems like both sides are going to have an issue. The running game is going to be key. Ashton Genty hasn't shown up yet. So Bears fans are really looking for our team to not be the team that he shows up on. We wanted him as a Bear, but now it's time to shut him down and continue to shut him down for the rest of the year. He should not be showing up and making himself a name on the Bears, the same team that wanted to have him, at some point to a certain extent. And what I mean, same team, meaning the fans. We want him. We don't know what the team actually needed and wanted, Of course, we could tell that we needed a running back, but Genty, we definitely got to make sure we lock him down. Maxx Crosby, got to make sure we double him up, chip him every now and then. Got to pay attention to him, but overall, don't make him the main focus. He is not the main focus. There's other teams and other players on that team that are going to make plays. So we definitely got to make sure that we're utilizing the offense as best as we can to give Caleb more time to utilize the plays and the receivers to actually get down the field and fight to do what they need to. Rome Odunze showed up big time that last game. So I'm looking for him to actually have some more consistency himself. Luther Burden was able to show up as well. But I'm not even going to lie. Luther Burden was able to show up kind of because of DJ Moore, I feel. His injury at that time, or he was hurt at that time, a little bit of his overuse. So I'm wondering how we're going to actually see Luther Burden utilized in this game, given we have Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet out there to still have those targets out there as your big boy tight ends. The Raiders running game, overall, that equals a liability, period, point blank. 3.1 yards average, bottom tier, one dimension, big time. So we had to make sure that we're not one dimension, given we only average about 3 yards a play. So it's going to be a high flying game between teams that don't necessarily have the best of the best, but we have a much better offense from my viewpoint overall. To make sure that you're comparing them properly, right? So the defense itself, the Bears give up more points per game. So that's bleeding yards and bleeding points overall. We need to make sure that we lock that up. Between the two teams, it looks like the Raiders have slightly better. I mean, they have worse, sorry. They have allowed more points, just slightly, just slightly. But they have went against weaker offensive, and they have a weaker offense, so they're not necessarily able to capitalize on what they need to do. So overall, Pete Carroll has to make sure that his running game and his offensive passing game adds up so that the team can actually make more decisions to develop more. Overall, we're not getting as much as we would need from them. Looking at it right here, you have a direct comparison so far in the top offense right now. Caleb Williams with 715 yards. You have DeAndre Swift himself, also 149. But then switching right on over, you got Geno Smith, just over 831 yards. And then you also have Ashton Genty, 144 yards. We do not need for these players to be any more productive than they are right now, especially Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty, I'm not looking for his whole career to be bad, but I'm just looking for him to play bad against the Bears, of course. But also looking at our production from our running backs, they're not necessarily producing as much as we need them to as well. So we need to make sure that we are able to block and establish more of a profound defense. Right now, we have defenders in Noah Sewell and Tremaine Edmunds that are doing great as our linebackers because we do have TJ down. But right now, we do need more within that. We need to keep Maxx Crosby contained overall. We need to make sure we test the Raiders secondary. They've had some issues, but overall, they're pretty decent. So, that's going to be tough. Timing game for Caleb is going to be interesting, but he should be able to shred them up. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And if we stop Genty, I see a lot of things happening from this defense actually being able to stop Genty itself. But, when you're looking at the Raiders defense itself too, they have some decent players themselves. Devin White has always shown up as a great linebacker. And at the end of the day, what I've noticed is with deadly players like Maxx Crosby on the line, and sad to say, this guy here, I don't want to mess his name up. I'll just say his first name, Johan. Not Johan. Look at that. I messed it up anyway. Jonah. It's Jonah. But yeah, they've been showing up and looking like a presence on that line from the games I've been looking at and kind of, getting ready for this game. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what the Bears have when it comes down to utilizing and stopping the presence of these guys on the line. Last week, Ben Johnson definitely showed that he is not afraid of Matt Eberflus's scheme whatsoever. Matt Eberflus didn't have any type of game plan for Caleb Williams whatsoever, and he actually showed that he doesn't know Caleb. By the way, Caleb dissected him. So now all the critics can understand that Caleb Williams is not the issue when it came down to last year's game. It was the coaching staff and all those other issues that were fired and replaced. And guess what? Those were decisions by Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren. Period, point blank. George McCaskey, they were out there saying we couldn't do this anymore, and they took care of it. So you do have to give credit where it is due. We love to give ridicule and criticism where it's due, but we don't love to give credit where it's due. So that's definitely something we need to make sure that we do. The team's health, bye week is coming up. So overall, I'm hoping that the bye week helps us shore up some, play with the Bears team. And then also we get to make sure that we have things clear. What are we doing on offense and what are we doing on defense? What type of offense are we running? What type of defense are we running? I will say this. It's only week 4, which meaning week 5 is going to be our bye week. I would have liked it if it was actually week 5 to 6 that we had our bye week, because that would have been a more healthier portion of the season to see before we lock it in. But right now, I really see Ben Johnson locking in his game plan big time, especially against the Raiders. We're going to see a little bit of that, and hopefully the defense can hold down Ashton Genty, and we don't have to worry too much about anything when it comes down to his prospects, because he's trying to still do something in general right now. And it makes a lot of sense at the end of the day for people to understand more of the Bears are trying right now, right? They don't have a team necessarily, right? We have a squad. We have pieces. And now we're just trying to put it together to build and become a better team. And I know this. I still see the Bears potentially. I don't quite know if it's 11 wins, but I would love to still see the 11 win season. But I still see us being in the playoff contention and, doing big things just later on against the Raiders, hopefully today. Ben Johnson has a great plan, and you all are coming back to this video and letting me know, hey, bro, it worked. Ben Johnson got the defense on lock, got the offense on lock. Possibly Swift went crazy running. That's going to be great to hear. Or maybe Cal Manungai went crazy. We also supposed to hear about Theo Benedict taking over on the offensive line. And also maybe, hey, it would be nice to see OZ out there, right? OZ Top. And at the end of the day, we're really trying to figure out what's happening with this offensive line as Bears fans. And it's sad to say that we're going to really find out against the Raiders with players like Maxx Crosby out there doing his thing and just being a complete menace. And I know I repeated myself a few times with that, but that is so true. It hurts. Now, in closing, I just want to definitely make sure I remind you all in a brief message. Just as a reminder, this right here, big shout out to David Banks for actually showing this. This right here, if you can't see it, zoom in. This is it. Make sure that it is the thumbnail. For everyone, please understand, making any awareness to a great cause is always great, regardless of the way that you do it. Finding your way to poke at it is actually hilariously stupid. Please don't do that. These are very serious causes and very serious mental issues and, things that we're trying to get over and make sure we're stronger from. So overall, a lot of people in general, including myself, have had some issues in the past where, things might have came through your mind. And guess what? You might have needed something like this or maybe just some self-empowerment yourself, something that I've used. But if you don't know, it's the same everywhere, just like here in Illinois. Right here, as you can see, this is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline for Illinois. Definitely make sure if you need to, please, everyone, seriously, big time awareness. They're there sometimes to just hear you out, just understand what your mind is going through and stuff like that. So definitely, please, please, if you need it, do it. Call the number. It's perfectly fine. No one's going to make fun of you, and none of that stuff even matters if you're taking care of yourself. Mental health first. So is there anything else? Just wondering. Caleb Williams handled Dallas. Luther Burden made plays. Man, even Edmunds showed up. I've been calling him out this whole time. The run game is still a little suspect, and the Raiders are up next. So that's definitely something to look forward to. It's time to prove we got what it takes to beat a team with a sneaky good defense. They're sneaky good. They're not the best or anything like that, but sneaky good defense. Big time. And overall, we need to make sure that, as Bears fans, we don't overdo it. All right. Don't overdo it, Bears fans. Don't overdo it. Because there's a lot of passion that's coming from these, these teams out here. And I'm understanding people in the comment section below are feeling themselves just as well. And all they want to say is nails, 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 nails. But now, hopefully, we got past that point of the nails. And now we can see exactly what happens with that. So definitely make sure you bear down, family. Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button. Definitely make sure you subscribe to Mind on Bears. It's been a great time, man. We always talking. None of that BS Bears talk. I appreciate your time here. Until next time, y'all. Bear down, mom, gang.